what I loved about your website was get this SOC compliant in half the time.
Right.
Right. That was yeah. I personally didn't spend any time. So whatever conversations we had was the time I spent. And I like and talking to you before, the vision of where you're going to continue to evolve. That's all going to just be more and more useful. I would advise a founder is don't try to do the whole thing yourself because you have too many other things you got to get done in your business. Your process where not only the tool is really good and I can see the evolution of it, but it's also the service that you brought just to really make sure that we as a team understood what was important for us. Like that was really helpful. SOC 2 came out and I said, oh yeah, we use EasyAudit. We went on your website. It's like, oh, check out resources. I'm getting like, yep, there we are right there. It's
Nice.
cool.
How have you been since we last spoke? It's been a bit.
It has. Things are fun. The SOC compliance, I was super impressed how fast you guys pulled it off, and it's been helpful. It's been nice to say we're SOC 2 compliant. Lots of conversations. We have multiple different types of customers we have been talking to, and part of this stage for us is getting more clear with who we're going to be focusing on as we pick a niche.
That first question, before you signed up with us, what was your thinking towards SOC 2 compliance? What was your attitude towards it? Was it clear, confusing, scary, exciting?
From my perspective, I've done SOC 2 compliance in other past lives with software teams, and whether that was through clients, various products I've worked on. So aware of the process, and as a smaller team, very focused, very capital efficient, I was not looking forward to the amount of money we'd have to spend to go through the normal process, just the time it would take. And before finding you guys, in the back of my mind was thinking, okay, I know AI is coming, it's going to be easier. We had previous conversations before talking to you, probably with Vant and Secure Frame over a year ago, and wasn't the process that felt that I wanted to go through. So that was the before.
Got it. Did you already have kind of like a plan or a path in mind for how you wanted to get compliant?
No, I think from my perspective, we as a small team, we already felt like we ran a fairly tight ship in terms of our own process. As you know, we're simple. We're just a few people. Our technology stack is simple. We try to keep things easy and simple for our phase right now. So I had a feeling that once we got into it, Alex, right on our side, just jumped in and did whatever he had to do. I was hoping that's what it would take. Honestly, it went a lot better with you guys than I was expecting, just because I personally didn't do anything. So from my perspective, like, wow, that was easy audit. Look at that. The tool itself was really nice. Obviously going in, generating the policies and things that we would have had to do ourselves. That was great. And what I really liked was, even though the tool looked nice, I didn't really go through it because the service was outstanding. And I think the way you guys stayed on it, were proactive, kept saying, this is what's next and here's what you do. And it was good because Alex, full-time developing, this was like a part-time just thing, like, okay, and so he was just able to take the next actions that you gave him, do that work without thinking, just to get it back to you. So it was very little time on our end. And then amazing that within 3 weeks, wow, that was awesome. It was great.
Well, I'm also glad it went so well. How much time do you think you saved, like compared to doing it the traditional way with like Excel spreadsheet or maybe using another platform or something like that?
Why don't I answer it this way? I'll tell you how much time I spent, and then you'll have a better idea of what that meant for me. I personally didn't spend any time. So whatever conversations we had was the time I spent. From the time I saw your LinkedIn post, and we talked about this before, I resonated with your writing, with kind of your perspective on things. I was like, yep, that's my guy. And then when we talked, having talked to Vanta, usually what happens. So again, this is just my time was in the upfront, just selecting which one to go with. And the decision was, okay, I knew based on checking it out, what you said, and even coming in and understanding that this is a smaller team going after it. And personally, I like that, because having worked with lots of businesses, once you're scaling, so call it the Vantas or whatever, at that point, they've got a pretty dialed in, they've got a big team. I know I'm talking to somebody, but I can't trust that somebody's going to say exactly how the thing's going to go. Talking to you, the founder, and then meeting your co-founder, I knew that even if there was an issue, you guys would just take care of it. And that's exactly, well, I don't know if there was any issues, because from my end, it all looked great. So my time, up front was whatever time we talked in meetings. So call that 5 hours, 6 hours.
What about afterwards? Like, what does life feel like now that the audit's done, reports issued? You can obviously advertise that you're SOC 2 compliant. You can talk about it in your sales cycles. Do you feel a big difference in those conversations now?
I do. I do. Just a specific example. Our customers trust us. They had a sense that we're good. But even our customers are involved in, contracts that they're going to want to go through and make sure their vendors are SOC 2 compliant. So it's always been on the list of we're working on it. Like we know it's on the docket. We know it's there. So now to be able to go back like, hey, we got it. It's just a nice like, yep, followed through on that. And in our current conversations with new customers, new prospective customers, just being able to check that box, it feels really good. So rather than having, we're working on it, it's nope, here's the SOC compliant. Here's if you want the report, you can go here. And I like talking to you before, the vision of where you're going to continue to evolve. That's all going to just be more and more useful.
No, that's awesome. Those are some great points there. What do you think? I guess last question, because that mostly covers it. What advice would you give to like a founder that was getting into SOC 2 for the first time now? Like anything you think they misunderstand about the process? Any tips you'd give them?
I think as a founder, you're starting a business, there's just a lot that you probably have a surface level understanding of, but you don't have the depth of understanding of all things necessarily. And I would say it's worth it. I don't know if this is a good thing for your business model or not, but I'll just say like what was really helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't know how scalable it is, but it was really helpful. Your sales process, where right up front, what I loved about your website was something to the effect of get this SOC compliant in half the time.
Right.
That was because I don't have a lot of time. I need to get it done. And I think as soon as we kicked off that process, I think your sequencing, even before our meeting, you sent it to like a YouTube video where you just went over the basics. That was really good, right? And I already knew about SOC compliance, but not depth per se, even though I'd been involved. So just to have that, to get a little bit more confidence, and ultimately it is the confidence of, I trust these guys are just going to help take care of it for me. And that's really what I would advise a founder is don't try to do the whole thing yourself because you have too many of things you got to get done in your business. But if you can quickly get up to speed on the purpose and reasoning for all this, beyond just a good compliance, it's legit. We all have to protect our data. We all have to have good practices. So you want to get that regardless of a badge, but to go through your process where not only the tool is really good, and I can see the evolution of it, but it's also the service that you brought, just to really make sure that we as a team understood what was important for us. Like that was really helpful. And then to actually make it happen in a really like the speed by which you guys got back and just shepherded it along, and then even working with the actual third party auditor, just making sure that process that they finished that in a timely manner, that was all incredible service. And I think that from a early stage software owner founder, your time is the most valuable thing. So if you can save that time, and not only that, your pricing was really fair considering like all the big companies that charging a lot more money, taking a lot more time, like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I totally agree too with your point about service. I think that's overlooked now, especially with founders. You have a tech company, software. I guess people just want to sell a login. Here's your login, and then you figure it out and you use the platform. But we're human at the end of the day, right? People want to have relationships with the people. They want to have an actual partnership, and I think that's so often overlooked with tech founders where they just, no, we want to scale, take your login, go away. But it's like even a couple calls with your customers is like makes a huge difference. People want to feel like they actually have a partnership with you.
Yeah, it's true. So you have to take into account that, just give me a login. But no, like what you want is the result. You're paying for a result. And I feel like we absolutely got that result from you guys.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all the kind words, Adam. That's basically all my questions.
Well, I really appreciate, and even the follow-up after with the case study examples. Even this morning, I was chatting with a developer at a client site, and SOC 2 came out, and I said, oh yeah, we use EasyAudit. We went on your website. It's like, oh, check out resources. I'm getting like, yep, there we are, right there.
Nice.
It's cool.
You can show yourself on the site. Just as double proof. There you go.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your day. Great to speak with you as always.
Likewise. All right, Christian.
All right, take care.